Hey guys, welcome to this Connecteams training session where I'm going to show you guys how to use the time clock. It's very important that you guys know how to use the time clock, you guys understand how it works, because this is the moneymaker. If you don't submit your hours correctly, you're going to get underpaid or overpaid, and it's going to be a hassle for everyone. So if at any point you feel something's unclear, that something's not right, just reach out to us and we'll try our best to help get everything settled down. So, let's start off nice and simple. We're going to see this time clock up here. Let's go ahead and click it, and that'll take us to this screen. You're going to notice up here at the top, it'll tell us total work hours today, and it's going to say 0 because we haven't worked any. But let's go ahead and punch in. Notice the blue clock in button, a request button, timesheet button, and a break button. If you ever need to modify any sort of shifts, like say you forgot to do a punch, you're going to look for that in the timesheets, but we'll cover that section in another video. So we'll click the clock in button, and it takes us to this screen. It'll tell us to select a job. So that first job, that clerical hourly, we're going to go ahead and ignore that for the time being. We'll have you use that when we tell you to. Very rarely will you actually have to use it. But when you do, we'll let you know. We'll say, hey, go ahead and punch in as clerical hourly, and then we'll get it taken care of from there. But we can focus our energy onto the other three options. Trainings, which is, your recertifications. Basically, anytime we say, hey, you need to take this class or whatever, or you need to do this course, you're going to punch in as training. Trips, that would include, obviously, your trips, your pre-trip inspection, any brokerage inspections, and anything related to the trips. Vehicle maintenance, that's your oil changes, your tire rotations, any time that your vehicle is getting repaired, worked on, or it's in a shop. So, we'll go ahead and start our day off by selecting trips. Wait, and then we see up here that we have this blue box, and it's counting up. So it says we've been on the clock for 10 seconds. It's a little counter down here that'll tell us our total hours worked. We'll see this attachment area. It'll ask you to confirm your hours. Again, that is not required. There's an add note area, which we will discuss later on in this video. And then we can click over here where it says my day log, and it'll tell you that you were active from so-and-so time to right now. We've been doing trips for about a minute. So let's go ahead and go back to attachments. And yeah, this screen from here, you can just hit the home button. We can go into transit track. We can, oh, ah, oh, well, I can't remember my transit track pin, but we can open up Samsara. We can basically do all sorts of other stuff. We don't have to necessarily stay there. Wait for Samsara to load. Okay, we have that. Oh, come on, Samsara. Okay, we got that. It all looks good. And then, boom. Oh, I need to get my oil changed. I'm going to go get my oil changed. So, we open up the Connecteams app, and you see that's still running. So that is A-OK. Now, like I was saying before, you're going to have to select different jobs. To switch to a different job, you're going to want to click this switch job button down here. And then, just like when we punched in, it's going to show a couple different options. We're going to do vehicle maintenance because we said we're going to go get our oil changed. We wait for it, and then you'll notice up here, this big timer reset. And you're going to notice it says work time on vehicle maintenance. It's going to update our total worked hours, and you'll see that we did trips for a total of 5 minutes. So we go off, we do our oil change, yada yada yada. We're just gonna play pretend, because realistically I'm not gonna sit here and wait 15-20 minutes to show you guys that the timer's going up. It goes up. If for some reason it's not going up, it's either because you're not punched in or there's something going on with your app. If that ever happens, just close out of it and open it back up. If that doesn't work, you can just go ahead and contact us in the office and we'll try and get that figured out. Well, we're approaching the 1 minute mark, so I finished my oil change and now I'm going on lunch. So I'm gonna click that start break button. Well, it'll think, and boom. Okay, now the timer's different. It's pink. It's still counting up, but I don't have those two buttons from earlier. It just gives me this day log. This is very important because it'll show, okay, well, I did this and I did that. Now I'm on break. We in the office can see when you're on break, so if something were to happen, we can see that you're on break, and we're like, oh, okay, well, we're not gonna bug them. We're gonna wait till they get off, because again, there's no obligation for you to answer your phone while you're on your lunch break. One thing to note though, if you have a split shift, i.e., you have a really long trip. Let's just say, for example, you're going from Pendleton to Portland, and then you have a 5 hour break. You would take your normal lunch break, and then after that, you would punch out. You wouldn't stay on break the entire time. You would stay on break just for the hour. So I'll go ahead and show you guys what I mean by that. So we're gonna let this rack up a little more, and then we're gonna thank you, transit track. We're gonna hit end break, and then we have a couple of options. We can return to our job, which was vehicle maintenance, which you shouldn't normally have to do unless you go from like an oil change, you take your lunch, and then you do tire rotation. We can do switch jobs, which will bring up that same little menu, and it'll tell you, oh, hey, well, you can choose trip, you can choose trainings, you can choose, I believe it also lets you choose vehicle maintenance. I think that one gives you all the options. Or, like I was saying earlier, if you're going to be off for a little while, but you're going to come back later in the day, then you'd hit end shift. But we're not going to do that for the time being. We're going to hit switch jobs, and we're going to go back to trips. We're going to keep on trucking, and you're going to notice it went back to the day log, and it's showing us the running totals for all of our stuff. We have our total hours worked, total time on this shift for the trips, and we can go back to attachments. We'll see that's all good, and yeah, and then you can basically just switch jobs infinitely. If you ever, for some reason though, accidentally click select job, you can just tap up in the gray area, or you can hit cancel, and it won't affect anything. But we've reached the end of the day. Long, hard 5 minute day. So, okay, let me think. I'm ready to punch out, but I did do something out of the ordinary. If you ever do anything out of the ordinary, please just tap add note and then type in what happened. So, for example, went to pick up another, I can't spell another, driver, cause their van broke down. And then we click the done button, and you basically use this again. That's a really good the example I gave was pretty good. Someone else's van breaks down and you have to go pick up your clients. This is really useful for us here in the office, because then we're not looking at your timesheet saying, um well, why was so and so punched in doing this, doing that, if they didn't have any trips. Then we have that little note and we're like, oh, okay, well, they went to go do that, so that's all right. So if anything strange happens, anything out of the or any basically anything out of the ordinary, anything that you wouldn't normally do, or even if it's stuff you normally do, like say for example you had a brokerage inspection, you can type in there, had a brokerage inspection today. And once that's all done, we can finish our shift. Just click that end shift button right there, and it kicks us back to the home screen. And of course, to verify that, we can click chat. We can click this top time clock chat and give it a minute. And then we'll see the very bottom message. It'll say the date. It'll give you the breakdown of when you were working and when you were on break. So the break is indicated by that little coffee mug, and then it'll tell you the total hours. If you want to view it more in detail, you can just click view details, and this will give you a bigger breakdown of what it all is. And we can just go ahead and back out of there, back out of there. We're going to click this little house down here. It's the feed button, but it basically is just the home screen. It's this screen. And that concludes our section on the time clock. If you have any questions, though, please reach out to us. We'd be glad to answer. Because at the end of the day, we know that this is something new. And you're going to have questions, so don't be afraid to ask.